And it's a man in a bow tie. This is a first here for OneClimate in Second Life. Why are you wearing a bow tie?
Well, normally I wear more or less whatever I feel because my name is Ben Wikler. I work at avaz.org, which is an online organization. So my office is wherever my computer happens to be. But here at the climate change negotiations, I'm also the presenter of the Fossil of the Day Awards, which are given to the countries that do the most to obstruct progress in the climate change negotiations. And as befits an awards ceremony, I do try to dress properly.
Excellent. It's like the Oscars in reverse.
Yeah.
So who's 1, 2, and 3 today?
Tonight, the third place went to Canada, which was so offended by a photo display about their tar sands that they demanded to the Secretariat that the display be torn down. The second place prize, I can't even remember because I'm so eager to get to the first place prize, which went to Italy. Italy won tonight because when Berlusconi arrived in Brussels for the discussions about the EU climate and energy package, he said that he would potentially veto the package, and he said that talking about climate change right now, emissions cuts now, is absurd in the face of the economic crisis. It's like someone with pneumonia talking about going to the hairdresser.
Yes, that's Berlusconi for you.
Yeah.
Actually, it's very interesting because a lot of the ministerial statements today have been saying exactly the opposite, that in fact we simply cannot afford to allow the financial crisis to overshadow the climate change crisis, which at the end of the financial crisis will still be there.
Well, I'll tell you, the curious thing, Avaz.org commissioned an opinion poll in Italy, Germany, and Poland last week. So the poll was taken December 5th through 8th, and we just released it today. And we asked people in these three countries, do you think that ambitious action to combat climate change, things like putting a price on carbon, investing in renewable energies, is more likely to help the economy, neither help nor hinder, or hurt the economy? Because, of course, Berlusconi's argument's based on the idea that people think it'll hurt. We found overwhelming majorities thought that it would either help or would be neither help nor hinder. In Italy, Germany, and Poland, it was, I think, something like 85% of Italians thought that it would either help or that at least it wouldn't hinder the economy. So they're really, not only in reality, but also in popular perception, people understand this idea that fighting climate change is also fighting the economic crisis.
Okay, who've got a question in from Second Life? Any preview of top candidates for Fossil of the Year?
Well, my goodness. Fossil of the Year is, of course, the least prestigious or most anti-prestigious award given in the entire Fossil of the Day process. Right now, you can actually find the rankings nearly up to date online if you go to fossiloftheday.org. Right now, Canada has an enormous number of fossil awards racked up. Harper's government seemed as though it was teetering just a few days ago, and so I guess his orders to his delegation were to try to screw things up as much as possible before he left. So Canada managed to rack 4 fossil awards in one day, which is unprecedented. They tied with themselves for second place. Japan is right up there. Japan is questioning the 1990 baseline year for cuts. So they're saying, sure, we'll cut carbon, just we won't cut them from when we, actually we're using so much carbon. They want us basically take the last 18 years as a giveaway and start cutting from now. But the big question is whether a dark horse candidate will surge into the front, and that is all eyes are on Europe on that one. Germany especially has gone a complete reversal from championing the EU climate and energy package last year, the EU leading the way in the UN talks, to this year. Suddenly Merkel is trying to riddle the EU package with holes, which would really undermine the entire UN global process.
I noticed the German environment minister today in the ministerial high-level segment, as they call it, was kind of trying to repair a bit of the damage by doing a very pro-Poznan speech, but he's still got the Prime Minister to contend with.
The funny thing is, that if you talk to German delegates, they've all spent their lives trying to fight climate change. They thought they were working for the government that was right out in front, and this change of positions happened in the last month. So they're all feeling betrayed. They're furious. And last night after the Fossil Awards, when Germany won first place, delegate after delegate came up to the booth, snapped a picture, and said it was just a shameful day they thought would never happen. So not just the minister, but I'm sure all over the German government are people who never thought they would see the day that Merkel, their country, is the biggest hindrance to progress on climate.
Oh, that's good. Another question. Isn't this just a dress rehearsal very appropriate in view of your dress, for Copenhagen. I think that means, isn't Poznan just a dress rehearsal for Copenhagen for both delegates and activists? This is from Jeff.
I mean, I guess in a sense, but I guess you could say that, the middle third is a dress rehearsal for the final third of a race. I mean, the negotiations process goes on for a long period. And in a sense, it's true that next year is when the most important decisions will be made. But the EU is deciding its position now that it will carry through all the way to Copenhagen. So what happens in the EU this week is, is of serious import for next year. We can repair damage from things that happen here in Poznan, although the climate crisis isn't slowing down to wait for the rest of the negotiators. But at the EU, what happens right now will have tremendous echoes throughout the next year.
Okay, questions pouring in, but there's a strange board next to you. I don't know. Have we got it on film? Climate Wars, episode 14, the rise of Darth Merkel. So what's this about?
Well, so at Avaz, we run global online campaigns, and we last year were targeting the U.S., Japan, and Canada for obstructing climate progress. But this year, it's really about Germany. Germany has suddenly emerged as the biggest challenge to climate change in the world. And we've had 164,000 people from more than 190 countries in the last week sign a petition to the Merkel government and EU leaders calling for a strong climate package. We've had thousands of dollars and euros and pounds donated. We've run these opinion polls. Now people are flooding tens of thousands of comments into Merkel's comment page. So we thought we'd to help try to find a way to deliver this message from our members right here to the conference proceedings. This is running as a full-page, actually a 4-page spread in the Polish newspaper that's handed out for free here at the conference tomorrow. So every delegate and reporter will be able to have it in their hands for free starting, I guess, tomorrow around 6 a.m.
Can't wait for my paper. Okay, questions pouring in here. Is Avaz only, that's A-V-A-A-Z if you don't know it, only in the US? How can you get active? This is from Simp in Australia.
Sure. Well, actually, as it happens, I'm the only Avaz staffer from the U.S. We're a very much a global organization. Our largest country in terms of number of members is France. Our largest country in terms of percent of the internet using population, I think, is Bhutan, where we have actually pretty significant membership. And in the U.S., we're down the list on both counts. We're available in 14 languages, not Australian English specifically, but we use the Queen's English, which I guess should apply. And you can sign up at avaz.org, avaaz.org.
Okay. Well, the Australians still have a representative of the Queen as head of the government, although that's much disputed. Who of developed countries? Now you've got to be positive now. The negative is too easy. Who of developed countries is most constructive?
It's a good question. I mean, there are a lot of different things you can point to that are very encouraging. One of them is the UK. The Gordon Brown's administration has just announced 40%, I think 42% domestic, national reduction targets for the year 2020, which is significantly beyond what the EU had set and way beyond what other obstructionist countries had set. So, you can point to the United Kingdom, some of the Scandinavian countries are doing especially encouraging things on adaptation funding and support for coping with climate change in the global south. And in fact, people sometimes suggest that we should give a positive fossil award, an anti-fossil award, maybe a Solar of the Day award. But actually, so many countries come to these talks fully prepared to engage and try to move things along. We'd be handing them out like candy. There's a lot of great stuff that happens. It's just that the way that the UN process works is that one country can block a deal from going through, and that's why we try to stop those before they get out of control.
I may have missed one of the awards, but I don't think the Saudis have been up there this year, have they?
It's a funny story about the Saudis. They won one award, and after they won, a big part of the delegation to the climate change talks came to the booth and started taking pictures. And one of our volunteers that we're working with on the Fossil of the Day Awards went up and started speaking to them, and they said that they get a pay bonus based on the number of Fossil of the Day Awards they win while they're at the climate change talks. So we decided after that maybe it wasn't working as a disincentive to bad behavior.
Proves they're doing the job to disrupt the conference. Okay, it does strike me that Avaz and OneClimate ought to get together a bit more, actually. We both seem to be working on the same side, so that's something that a common interest, I think, for your people should meet our people at some point.